Hi, this is Brandon Spiller from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about exercise called the L-sit landmine overhead press, the single arm landmine overhead press. This is a great exercise to develop some upper body strength, get the abs involved, and kind of improve some movement qualities as well. So what you're gonna need a landmine of some sort, so the bar in a landmine apparatus. You could also shove it in a corner if you happen to be a place that you can do that. Just double check with your gym owner in your facility that it's okay that you do that. But once we're in there, we're good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get on the ground. And by being here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in the L-sit or the long sit. So basically, what we're doing here, feet are straight in front of me. Knees aren't completely super locked, but we're also not bent here, okay? We're not in a short seated position. We're in an L-sit, long seated position, so I'm good and long here. And what that's gonna do is basically get my pelvis underneath me. So here, we're kind of forcing some rounding. This is very difficult for somebody like me, good and wide, but this position here in the L-sit is very comfortable for me. So this actually works well for some of your narrow ISA people. If they don't need all that posterior expansion, we're not gonna put them in this position. They're probably good at this position, so we're gonna put them down here in that L-sit position. It's also great for lower level athletes and clients that need to be able to do stuff sitting rather than standing because they go into that overextended position. We wanna get them out of that. So what you're gonna do here, take the landmine, get it in one arm here. Again, make sure that my wrist is stacked over my elbow. We don't wanna be like this. We also don't wanna be here. Keep it in. Gotta make sure that I try to keep good and tall while I sit here. I don't want to be hunched down like this. Good and tall. Get my abs engaged. And again, that's why it's good for those narrow people. This is going to kind of push them forward if they happen to be pushed back. So it's awesome there. We're going to put our hand by our side, reach up, come back down, and try to push our head through just a little bit. Should feel a lot of abs while you do this, as well as your upper body strength. And then we're going to do switch sides here, back. So again, I'm feeling a lot of abs here just by doing this. One, it's on one side versus the other, but again, I've got to use my abs to stay up because I don't want to fall backwards, okay? So again, great exercise, kind of get the full body engaged in terms of everything upper body. But when it comes to this, you've got to make sure you're looking out for two main things. The first one being the athlete's hamstring mobility. So if we do an active straight leg raise test and they've got crap hamstring movement, okay? Hamstring's not their thing. We need to improve their hamstring mobility because their squat doesn't look good and everything like that. This is probably not the exercise for them. If you look at it, when I'm sitting here like this is basically requiring a lot of hamstring mobility. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to round here at the back. You can kind of see how I am. However, if I kind of get my abs engaged, pull myself tall, I'm in a pretty good position. I've got decent hamstring mobility, not the greatest, but I got a lot that I can do a lot with. I just am not super low on the totem pole like some athletes. So this is actually okay for me, but again, I would probably go short seated for myself. However, we just want to make sure that if we're gonna get their legs in this position, they can actually get to it or pretty close to it, especially with some good cueing in this stay good position. If they're like this while they do the exercise, or they've got a crappy hamstring mobility test or active straight leg raise test, this is not the exercise for them. So that would be my first key thing to make sure we're working on. The second would be if you're working with a lower level athlete and you're trying to get them on the ground, half kneeling might be a better position just for the sheer fact that we can actually get this higher off the ground. So you got to think about the lower you are to the ground with the landmine, technically the harder it is, just even with the 45-pound bar. So either have a lighter bar available if this is going to be your go-to exercise, or find a different position that lets them use a little bit more strength because of the exercise, because if the landmine starts here, this is honestly about the end position of when I was doing my L-sit, and if I'd be like an old frail lady woman, that wouldn't be good for me, even though it might be a good exercise option for them. So something to keep in mind when you're doing an exercise like this, especially because it is a single arm option, that can make this pretty heavy, again, for that older, frail lady that you might be working with. Now, if you are gonna go with this from a programming perspective, I really like this for 3 sets for about 6 to 10 reps per side, and then pairing it with another exercise. So again, pretty easy to set up and do. You just got to make sure there's some boxes that you can check for your particular athlete and client that you're trying to get this exercise for to get the results that you want. So you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.